A shocking report has revealed that nearly 50,000 foreign students who arrived in Canada never enrolled in their designated colleges. The highest number of these missing students come from India, followed by China, Nigeria, and Ghana, raising concern about visa fraud and loopholes in Canada's immigration system. Many of these students had obtained visas under the pretense of study. But after arriving in Canada, they either disappeared from college records, got trapped in fraudulent admission, or used the student visa as a backdoor entry to work. According to data from Immigration, Refugees and Citizenship Canada, the missing students include 19,582 from India, 4,279 from China, 3,902 from Nigeria, and 2,712 from Ghana. These students had entered Canada between March and April last year, but when authorities checked their enrollment status, they were never found in their assigned institution. Out of the 7,17,500 plus international students being monitored at the time, approximately 6.9% were untracked, meaning that their current whereabouts are just unknown. While 89.8% of students were confirmed to be attending schools, the status of 23,000 plus students remained completely unrecorded, raising concern over a system that has allowed such a large number of students to go missing without accountability. The situation has brought attention to two major issues. The first is fraudulent colleges and visa scams. Some students were misled by authorized agents who promised them admission to a very reputed institution. However, after reaching Canada, they found out that the so-called universities were actually small office spaces with no classroom or proper facility. One such case was reported in Brampton, where a 24-year-old Indian student arrived in Canada believing that he had secured admission to a very well-established university, only to discover that the institution was non-existent. Left without any education, he was forced to take up a job at a gas station just to survive. The second major reason is the deliberate misuse of student visa. Many students, particularly from regions like Punjab and Gujarat, never intended to study in Canada. Instead, they applied for student visas solely as a means to enter the country and start working. Let me give you an example now. A 27-year-old from Gujarat openly admitted in a report by one of the media houses that he had no plans to pursue education in Canada. Let me quote what he exactly said. "Many people from my area have done this. I knew it was illegal, but I had no other option." Cases like this one indicate that a large number of students view Canada's student visa system as a shortcut to gain access to work opportunity abroad rather than just focusing on education. One of the biggest loopholes that allows this to happen is Canada's lenient immigration policy as compared to other countries like the US or Australia. Unlike these countries, Canada do not require international students to pay any tuition fee up to before arriving, making it easier to obtain a student permit without any real commitment to education. Now, this particular thing allows many people to land in Canada on student visas and disappear into the labor market without ever stepping foot in a classroom. Some students even use Canada as a transit point, entering legally with a student visa and later crossing illegally into the United States, seeking better job opportunity there. Now, to combat this growing problem, the Canadian government has tightened its immigration rule in several ways. Authorities have capped the number of new student visas, limited post-graduation work permits, and launched investigation into colleges suspected of being involved in fraudulent education. Additionally, the Indian officials have also started investigating migrant agents and colleges that may be part of illegal student visa racket. Many of these so-called colleges are under great scrutiny for allegedly acting as a cover for unauthorized migration network, making it easier for students to enter Canada but never actually studied. The consequences of this crisis go just beyond the students involved. The rise in missing students have led to serious concern over housing, healthcare, and public services in Canada. With such a large influx of people using student visas to work instead of study, the country is facing increased pressure on affordable housing, job availability, and government resource. Many local Canadians and even legal immigrants are struggling really hard to find homes and jobs, and that too due to sudden rise in demand caused by these unauthorized students entering the workforce. For aspiring students and their families, this should serve as a wake-up call. If you're planning to study in Canada, it is very important to verify your college, ensure that it is legitimate, and be fully prepared for the education commitment. Many students are getting caught in immigration scams that cost them thousands of dollars and ruin their future as well. Others who take illegal shortcuts may find themselves stuck in a legal mess, unable to get proper jobs, facing deportation, or left stranded with no clear future. Canada is now cracking down on student visa fraud, and the rise of illegal migration are becoming much higher. The message is clear. Students who want to genuinely pursue education in Canada needs to follow the right procedure, avoid fake colleges, and focus on studies rather than the shortcuts. Those who try to exploit the system may end up losing everything as immigration law becomes stricter and authorities increase the enforcement.